The spell that Wanda put Agatha under has now been distorted after the events of Multiverse of Madness. And she has to break out of it with the help of the mysterious goth teen.
The distortion is maybe happening because if she's still alive, she doesn't have like a control over this anymore, right? And she needs all these elements to come back together.
Welcome back to the Break Room. Agatha All Along comes out in 2 weeks, mid-September, and the news is coming out now. Boy, they're doing a full press, and we're getting a lot of good information. Could we get the return of Wanda? That is the question on most people's lips. Not so much on Joe Locke's lips, because his are sewn shut. And do we need it? Do we even need it? It's the headlines show here on the Break Room. Hit that beautiful graphic.
H-E-A-D-L.
That's my fault for not telling Matt that we needed the graphic.
Okay.
I got you. Can I get full?
Will throw it in post. All right.
I got you. Hit
Hit that beautiful graphic.
Go to Maude's camera.
Right here. Right here. Where's my sweet H-E-A-D-L-A-N-E-S headlines?
There it is.
Great.
I'm Zach Huddleston, and we've already heard from Maude. Garrett's here.
You've met me. Hi, Maude Garrett.
Look at that.
It was Maude all along.
Yes.
I've always been the headline.
What?
And
Evan Yee.
Hello. Hey, happy to be here in my most monotone voice possible.
I tagged the wrong.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's okay.
Is there some other Evan Yee that's thrilled to be tagged by?
There's multiple Evan Yees that are all creative people.
Oh.
I've talked to one of them, and one of them hates me because I accidentally stole his website.
Oh.
True story. Can't get into it. Evan Yee, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
You know what?
I'm not. Evan, it beat you fair and square.
All Evan Yees are welcome in this chat, okay? Come on. Come all ye faithful,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, there we go.
All right. So there's lots of Agatha to get through, but we wanted to talk about this potentially cool story. A widely reported rumor that is circling out there that Josh Brolin has been offered the role of Hal Jordan in DC Studios' Green Lantern series, Lantern.
Let's go.
Lanterns, that's my bad.
Lanterns, yes. Yeah, the series is called Lanterns. It's about Green Lanterns. And you'll be playing one of those Green Lanterns, Hal Jordan. It'll be following Hal Jordan and Green Lantern John Stewart as they are drawn into a dark, Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. Basically, True Detective Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be an HBO series.
HBO
right?
is going to be live action. These are like the promo images that they released earlier. Yeah, this feels like a pretty big get. I mean, I know Josh Brolin is doing his like Outer Range show right now,
Prime, yeah.
but like this feels really cool to me.
No Country for Old Lanterns?
Oh.
Well, when you think about it, like he's kind of done everything he can do under the Marvel scope, unless he wants to return as Cable again.
Yeah.
But he's been very, very different as Cable, and in comparison to Thanos. Thanos is obviously, we're guessing, had his absolute run with this. He's not going to resurrect from the dead, we don't think. You never know with Marvel. So the fact that DC want to scoop him, I think this is great, especially for a TV show.
Yeah.
I wonder if DC can ramp up TV and catch up to Marvel as they are in their worst phase at the moment, according to Deadpool.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's not you saying that.
Yeah,
that's Deadpool saying that in a Marvel movie. Well, and in theory, I love that DC is embracing the HBO of it all. Right, we're about to see the Penguin series is also starting shortly, and it's like, boy, nobody's better at making very expensive, very good TV than HBO over the last 25 years, right? So
AMC was giving them a run for their money for a little bit with Breaking Bad, Mad Men, but maybe not so much recently.
Yeah, and there's been blips here on Netflix or Prime or Apple or
don't
whatever.
Use the word blips when we're talking about this kind of stuff.
Okay.
Someone will disappear.
Yeah, there's been, but nobody's been more consistent in putting it out. Now they haven't really done, of the superhero variety. Obviously, we've had lots of fantasy, some sci-fi, just kind of normal, non-genre stuff. But this is also great because much like Penguin is, Penguin Sopranos.
Yeah.
I do like Green Lantern, True Detective is pretty cool.
I'm a big fan of that, especially since I think that we haven't really had a non-campy live-action Green Lantern yet.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I think that this could really modernize it, could really elevate it, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I think it could be a lot of fun. And having Josh Brolin at the helm, but we were talking about, I don't know if I'm going ahead on the script here, we were talking about the fact that Josh Brolin is not a young, scrappy thing anymore. Like, he's quite a bit older. And James Gunn has cast Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner out of the Lanterns, and he's also in his 50s as well. So it's like that kind of leans into that sort of more gruff, seasoned approach to these characters instead of being like, what does this do?
Yeah. And it's tough because, like, in the, you know, if you have a ring that can, like, make anything appear almost, right? Like, you can manifest its powers to, like, the form that you want it to be.
Do you think
it's
you
hard
could
not to see it as, like, potentially campy, right? Because it's the potentials are endless.
Yes.
But by narrowing it and making it a little bit more focus on this mystery, like, and the surface aspect of the Green Lanterns, it feels like there's something really interesting.
And setting it on Earth. Right, like Green Lantern Corps is like very intergalactic, right? And like often those stories are set on other worlds or in space or whatever. So it's really cool to put them on Earth.
I always think that as soon as you take a story to space and the space greater than Earth becomes a threat, it actually dilutes the threat to us because we can't really calibrate it. When you humanize a story and have it like more of an intimate threat, like someone that you know and love, like that being what's at stake, that's where you get better performance. That's where you kind of understand the characters and it becomes more relatable. So this is really exciting.
I love setting it on Earth too. Maybe, also less like when you're in space. This certainly was an issue with the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern film. Everything's just so CGI and green screen, and there's no like weight or reality to anything. I also am going to correct myself. I said HBO has not done superhero stuff. Of course, the Watchmen series, one of the best superhero series, right, was on HBO. So they can do it that genre as well as anybody.
Also Lindelof, who's doing this show as well.
Ooh, is Lindelof doing this Green Lantern show? Ooh.
I feel like Prime has been the superhero platform. They've
had the highest hit rate, right? With The Boys and Invincible, and even like Fallout is obviously not a superhero show, but like there were some qualities of that genre.
It's post-apocalyptic, but it's it's centered around on Earth as well.
Yeah. Real quick, so we know Green Lantern John Stewart's going to be in the show. Has yet to be cast, or at least that information hasn't been released. And I mean the Josh Brolin thing's also not official.
Yeah, not confirmed.
A couple outlets have said, but. Who do you think, we were talking earlier, do you, if you have, 50-plus-year-old Josh Brolin, do you find similar aged Jon Stewart, or do you go for a contrast and maybe find a much younger actor? Or the opposite, you get Louis Gossett Jr. or somebody who might be dead, I don't remember. But, you get, you find the oldest, Lawrence Fishburne, somebody else even older. I think... Well, I mean, if True Detective is going off of anything, in the first 3 seasons of that show, often the detectives were similarly aged.
Sure.
The most recent season, I think Jodie Foster is much older than Callie Reese. But yeah, a couple names that came to mind for me. Andre Holland.
Yep.
You know who that is from? I first saw him in.
I believe there was an article that went
Moonlight
out.
and High Flying Birds and a couple of things. I don't know. He has a good vibe for like gritty police procedural energy. Yeah.
Oh, there was a list that was like 30 potential casting of Jon Stewart, and he was at number 1.
Oh, okay. Wow. I didn't see that list, but birds of a feather.
Nice.
Yeah. And I mean, there'll be other names that'll get thrown around that probably are not going to do it, like your Michael B. Jordans and what's his name, Washington's. And,
John David Washington. Yeah. That's tough.
Or Isaiah.
Yeah. Maude, do you have any suggestions?
If we're going to go older, in line with, I think, cool detective-y kind of gruffness, well, I think Sterling K. Brown would be really good if you want someone who's like of similar age.
Yeah,
that's a great call.
I think he's fantastic. And if we're going younger, there's rumors, there's noise out there about Aldous Hodge.
Oh, yeah.
Now, he was already in a DC property.
Yes.
But it's one of those things where it's like, he was about to take off, he was going to be his own superhero character. He was going to fly away with it all, and who knows what's happening
and he was
with
one of my favorite parts of that movie, too.
Yes.
A movie that I famously said that when I saw it, I was like, I haven't seen a movie that has felt like a waste of time in a long time, and this is.
But he showed up. Like, you could tell he wanted to suit up.
He's also, I think, he's like a legit off-screen nerd too.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
Like he's into the comics and all that kind of stuff, which is not
give him
that
another
matters in his portrayal of a character, but it is fun.
I would love to do a deep dive into people who are cast and they are actually nerds.
Yeah.
And honor and love and live and breathe, and those who had never heard of it before. And if there was either a detachment or if there was like more creative personal license over a character because they didn't really know it, and other ones wanting to honor it, that would be.
Ooh, I could see there being great examples of both. Right? Like, again, not being beholden to the canon. Maybe you can make choices that actually lead to a better outcome. Yeah, that I would love that to see that deep dive.
All right,
as well.
I'm on it. Let's get back to me in 30 minutes.
I also like your Sterling K. Brown pick was great because we recently did an episode of like who we would bring back as a new character, people that have appeared in Marvel movies. We forgot to mention Sterling K. Brown, who was in Black Panther. In the flashback sequence. He only has one scene and they kill him off or whatever. And it's like, he's such a good actor. You'd love to have him for something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also wanted to ask really quick, Maude, as someone who interviews people a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think you can see through when people might be like just, echoing the talking points, like to pretend to be a nerd or like pretend to have been passionate about a project before?
I remember 10 years ago interviewing someone who was about to enter a very successful and big and dedicated franchise. And they answered saying, well, I haven't really watched it. And I pulled them aside off camera and I was like, hey, listen.
You can't say.
Like, just so you know, you could get eaten alive. So it's just like either do a little research, but like maybe not so flippant, or be a little vague, or it's like just I'm really trying to help you out there before you're thrown to the wolves.
Yeah.
And that has definitely I guess they changed their attitude around it big time. But that person was quite young, and I feel like there is something about seasoned actors who love having authority over the characters since they have been cast, and it's like that was permission to be like nothing else matters until this point, which is what I bring to the character.
Sure.
I can usually tell with their answers whether they're a fan or not.
Yeah.
Like instantly. And people who are a fan, I love that for them.
Yeah.
Like, because I think they respect every facet of it a little bit more because they realize how lucky they are.
Yeah.
Instead of, this is just another character. They're like, no, this isn't just a character. This is 400, editions of a comic book. This is, all leading more to it. But yeah, I can usually tell. And I think a lot of the time the publicists are just saying, don't disrupt, like don't kind of negate the history of the character. I suppose.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, especially when a fan base might be looking for an excuse to come after you for other reasons.
Right.
You don't want to give them any extra fodder, right?
Yeah. My quick pitch for a younger Jon Stewart would be Corey Hawkins, who is in The Heights, The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
He's great.
He's great. I think he's like a really good screen presence. I want to see more stuff he's
I've
in.
seen other people throw out Lakeith Stanfield, who's already done some of the detective-y stuff in Knives Out.
He's a very brilliant actor.
Yeah.
He isn't someone that I would think would run at a comic book property.
Correct.
Yeah.
He has a very distinctive vibe. I think he usually plays that same vibe, and I don't know if it's.
I gotta tell a story. It was a Critics' Choice Awards 10 years ago. He gets up and accepts another person's award. Like, someone got this award and he just got up and went to the stage.
Was that person there?
I think
was
so.
the real winner was there?
I don't think that he was supposed to accept it on anyone else's behalf, and because he was at the table next to mine, and I think he'd had like a couple of drinks and he was just like wanting to just mess around a little bit, but everyone was just like, what is going on? And then like security kind of had to like go in and be like, haha. They're like, oh, anyway, now we'll really accept the winner. And I will never forget, like, you gotta have a set of balls just to be like, I'm going in a room full of all my peers and future employees.
Or just be truly marching to the beat of your own drum on a different planet than everybody else.
He ran out of F's, they were all gone.
That's right.
But I was just there and I was like, oh my God, he just accepted an award that wasn't his because he could.
Yeah.
Wild. I just have a real casting story. Not that the other stuff isn't real, but, it's not unconfirmed. It seems Ian McKellen has been asked to return as Gandalf in upcoming Lord of the Rings movies, telling Sky News, "I'm told Gandalf's involved, but I'm not yet told how much he's going to be paid or how much he gets to say. So I think we'll leave it there." Bless Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen, the best.
He's also run out of Fs, but I think it's such a beautiful thing when you're getting older and you're just like, oh, I don't care. What are you going to do?
I've been told he's in it. I haven't been told how much he's getting paid. He's talking about himself in the third person. Oh, great.
He's getting paid in a lot of pipe weed, right? Is that what they smoke or whatever? But yeah, it's nice to hear that he's doing well after his fall. It does, it is a little tricky to be like, he's getting older. Like, are they going to be making these movies in time for him to reprise the role? Be nice to see, but yeah, I don't know.
Are we going to start fan casting younger Ian McKellen Gandalf?
I don't think we don't have to.
Okay.
And I know the Lord of the Rings animated film that is coming out later this year, War for Rohirrim. Rohirrim, thank you. It is not set during a period, I believe, in which Gandalf is active. So But there always is a potential for voice acting as well. Maybe if Ian McKellen's not in a physical state to be able to do the role. Who knows? Okay, we want to shout out. We're going to get to Agatha All Along news, some Venom news, some other stuff. But we want to shout out one of our sponsors. You've heard us talk about them before. One Shot Energy. Boom! I took a focus chew before we started filming.
You sure did.
The things that Evan is holding. The focus chews are not caffeinated. They've just got nice little vitamins and different things that are good for mental acuity. That's how I'm able to say a word like acuity that I just pulled. That's not in the teleprompter. I just pulled it.
What does it mean?
You're acute. You are sharp. Like an acute angle on an isosceles triangle.
Like an acute girl on the table.
That's right. They also make these great voice drops. This is soothing yuzu flavor. And those are great, again, if you are the kind of person that needs to talk a lot, like you're a teacher, a singer, a streamer, something like that. They're really great. But they make all these great products, and their kind of signature energy chews are a great game changer. They have caffeine in them, but in a nice, chewy, tasty deliverable. Unlike, you don't gotta slam an energy drink, or maybe you're sick of coffee or whatever, right? Like, you pop one of these One Shot Energy chews and be just as vibrant, acute, if you will, as anything else. They're all plant-based and naturally sweetened without a bunch of bad sugars and chemicals and stuff like that. You can get started with One Shot Energy. You can try their focus chews, their voice drops, or their energy chews by heading to oneshotenergy.com/New Rockstars for 10% off. A ton of our viewers here at Breakroom and New Rockstars have tried them in the past and continue to renew, to buy more. It's not a subscription, but they, repeat customers because they really enjoy the One Shot Energy. So if you haven't already, try them out. Let us know. Okay, now it's time for my favorite part of our headlines show every week. The Maude Monday Minute on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday. We call it Tuesday News Day. That wasn't me. Someone brilliant came up with that. Was that you? Or was that KP Dubs? It was.
If it was brilliant, it was probably me.
Yeah, of course. I'll allow it. So this is a little fun segment where I try and spit across to you all of the headlines we didn't get to today in detail. We're just going to get them headlines running, but I have to do it all in 60 seconds. That's not long. I'm going to need a clock.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
For all the fans of Netflix's Arcane, like me, a new trailer is going to be dropping this Thursday for season 2. And speaking of, David Fincher is back at Netflix directing a Western crime thriller called Beetroot, which is an Aussie term for beets. Anyway, it's about an elderly rancher who robs banks and hunts down the thieves that took his life savings while being pursued by his son, who's the sheriff. Now, in Venom: The Last Dance, or what? Venom: The Last Dance, or Venom: The Gang's All Here?
Yeah, maybe the gang's all here.
A new symbiote has been revealed in an international version of the trailer, seemingly a green symbiote, possibly Lasher or Toxin, who had a brief blink and you missed it cameo right there. That's all my And lastly, keep an eye out for the first reactions to the Joker Folia 2 screens. It's going to be screening publicly for the first time tomorrow at the Venice Film Festival. Will there be a standing ovation? I don't know. I got 5 seconds to figure it out.
What do we think? Best guesses on standing ovations?
It's guaranteed to get it. It's just a matter of how many minutes, right? They usually have timers, and they're like This movie got a 14-minute standing ovation, a
Yeah.
21-minute standing ovation.
I want to bring it back to Arcane real quick. Did you guys see that Arcane? Did you see Arcane on
Teaser.
Netflix?
I've been waiting for the season 2. Like, now that I know that the trailer is coming out, I'm like, all right, now I can finally watch it. So I can't wait for this whole time that everyone else has been waiting for season 2.
So, okay. It's based on a video game. You don't need to have played League of Legends at all. It is by Riot Studios. They took a huge risk by getting it animated at this French animation studio, which is, it took 6 years to make the first season. It was something ridiculous, like a month for every minute it takes to make this.
Yeah,
and you can see the attention to detail. And visually, it's one of the best looking animations you've seen, but it has so much heart and story for a show based on a video game. You don't need to have played the game, but I am just saying, if you have not seen it, it is really worth your time. And there is a long time between seasons because it takes so long to make.
Is this the final season that
I don't
the
know.
trailer is coming up
It's
for?
unknown right
Okay.
now. Yeah.
But this show costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful.
A big I've only heard good things.
Yeah.
That it's like one of the best things people have seen.
It's one of the
I've actually
highly,
animated
I think it's
in
one of the
years,
highest rated animations.
Oh, I am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very passionate fan base. Love those French animation studios. I would love to know more if anybody knows more about like why France has become such a. They did Blue Eye Samurai, it was also animated in France, which is fascinating. And I think they do a lot. I think they do a lot of the Illumination animation, a lot of the Minion stuff. I believe is also done in France.
okay.
Strangely.
Also, clarification for the chat. Thanks so much, chat. But it is the final season 2, Arcane.
Okay, I thought I'd heard that.
Yeah.
Okay, so good up, folks.
expensive.
I think it's is this Geeked Week at Netflix?
Next week.
Next week is
Yeah.
Geeked Week.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll definitely be covering it on here or 2 weeks from now, actually. 2 weeks from now. Either here or on New Rockstars. Yeah, a full week of things. that
And we're
Netflix is
expecting trailers or news
Yeah.
or teasers for Stranger Things, Wednesday, Arcane. There were some other kind of.
the Lara Croft Tomb Raider series.
Oh, is
I
that a
imagine.
Netflix thing? Yeah. A lot of the loosely the geeky genres,
Yeah.
right? Be they sci-fi, fantasy, whatever. Okay, let's get into some Agatha stuff.
Hell
all
yeah.
right. As interviews are trickling out, again, the press tour is in full force.
Embargo lifted today.
Oh,
yeah.
great. And new clips have been getting released. There are a few interesting things for fans to consider with this show. One, how it's going to connect to the MCU. A second question that we're about to talk about. Will Wanda Maximoff show up? Will her name be spoken? I feel like that's guaranteed.
I do too.
100% yes.
Yeah.
Will we see Elizabeth Olsen in either old footage or new footage?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a very good chance we see some footage from WandaVision in this series.
At the
right?
very least, right? Yeah.
Even if nothing else, before the first episode, there'll be a previously on vibe,
Yeah,
right?
100%. And you even saw her. She was like in the 1960s black and white get up already in that. So it's supposed to
Yes.
take place right after it, isn't it?
Yeah. And do you think whether Elizabeth Olsen shows up in this series in new footage or not, do you think this series will confirm whether she is alive or dead?
It's better.
I think that's like the biggest question. I'm excited to revisit that as we kind of move through some of these clips and things too that we got
Yes.
queued up. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
what's at the end of the Witch's Road? Is it her? Is it her, right?
Oh yeah,
Like,
she could just be sitting there.
there needs to be a big bad of some stripe.
It's Oz!
Oz, the great and powerful. Okay, so keeping all these questions circling, let's see if we get any evidence one way or the other from these clips. Let's start with Disney released a clip kind of introducing all of the characters in this newly formed coven. Let's
Great.
play the Meet the Witches clip.
The one and only Patty LaPone.
Lilia Calderu, divination.
I have flashes of sights of vision. She's kind of batty all over the place. Gang's all here.
Wait, where's our green witch?
Now, this makes it look really fun and funny, but I've heard that it actually ramps up the horror.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna watch some clips where they show some jump scary moments. There's not a ton of that in this one, but also, Evan, is that where you got the gang's all here that you force fed into that Venom 3?
That's what you subconsciously did it.
Yeah,
you
that's definitely what happened.
ruined
Actually,
my flow so that you could subconsciously support
it was
Agatha.
Venom: The Last Dance, or is it Venom: The Gang's All Here? A new green symbiote was teased in the latest international
No,
trailer.
that's a stretch. I did not stick the landing because it
Made
was
no
not
sense. There's no gang. There's just another symbiote.
It's fresh in his mind.
Yeah, this is fun. Now it's very I'll be interested to see like this whole like, you know, gathering a coven and to, you know, go on this journey. Like, how long does this group last? Do you think they're all still alive by the end of the series? Do you think they're all together?
Do you think it's just a one and done?
No, I don't think this is just like the first 20 minutes of the pilot or something like that. But I do wonder. There's another clip we're going to see in a little bit, or maybe it was the clip that was released last week, where Rio says the bodies are piling up. Now, do we think there are lots of bodies, but technically we all have them. But like, is that some of these characters going to die? And that's, you know, Aubrey Plaza's character saying like, wow, the body count's going up.
Look, I hear what you're trying to say. Yeah, either they do not care for life, their mission is the most important thing at the cost of other people, or is Agatha the kind of person who would literally ask people for help, knowing that she would use them for sacrifice? Both of them.
I mean, that's her vibe, right? Like she gathers covens, she sucks the power out of other witches, and she moves on, right?
I mean, explicitly, it does feel like Deborah Jo Rupp's character is going to be a sacrifice, right? It is this person who does not know what's going on and is like, all right, I'm here for the ride. We went through this weird traumatic thing together, but okay.
And she's a naif. She's kind of like clueless or whatever. Right, she is the person that you would.
I'm sorry, did you say a naif?
A naif.
Just like threw that one casually into conversation.
Yeah, I'm just expressing my acuity. Okay. Clearly, I know 2 new words, and I'm trying to squeeze them in. I like this. You know, I'm always kind of mad on this type of a promo. I'm like, I don't need you to explain who these people are. I'll watch the show, and or you will also explain who these people are.
No, I liked it. I liked any kind of team assembling, especially like in heist movies, and everyone has their own unique role, and you must bring it together.
I love it. I love it in the show. I don't know that I need
like a promo
teaser for the assembly.
I like it in a trailer.
Okay.
Just give that to me.
Yeah.
This wasn't about you right now, Zach. This is a show.
I didn't think about them. Like, someone in the chat I think also said something similar, but like it could be that each episode one of them dies or sacrifice, or like towards the end does feel like it could be like a little like fellowship-y where they all get together for this mission, and then it's like, nope, it's actually we can't do it together. You have to go off by
and
yourself.
People need to separate or whatever. Yeah, I mean there are definitely multiple clips of like them all together in the same room on the same path, whatever. But it will be interesting to see how often that is.
And also, Agatha's been alive for so long. Like, are all these witches like that old too? Are they just like they know the legend of her? Just like Joe Locke like has like, oh, I read up all about you, right? They're all familiar with this Agatha Harkness.
Why do
character.
they look old, Evan? Is that what it is? Do you think that these women look old?
Well, and she's so old because she keeps sucking the energy out of other witches and kind of maintains her youth.
Yeah,
but if they are more,
that actually does work.
They could be normal aged, or they could be the same age as they present, or whatever. If they have not been doing that, right? Yeah. Okay. Should we move on to the next?
Oh yeah. So this is a new clip from if you didn't like that clip, Zach, I have bad news about this one, because this one is the gang's all here.
Oh my god.
Damn, Evan.
It really is on your brain, huh? You didn't even know.
I love team up movies so much.
Does this look centered?
Welcome.
Let me see. Maybe if I just. Gang's all here. Let's hit the road.
Gang's all here.
Evan's singular line there, yeah.
Could you tell I didn't see my friends this weekend?
So would you say the gang was not all there?
Anyways, one thing that I really liked about this promo is Patti LuPone, when she meets Shazia Zamata's character, she says, "Oh, High Priestess."
Did you also notice the painting behind her was like beams shooting out?
Oh, yeah.
Which is a lot like a tarot card.
Well, and Marvel released these promotional images showing the characters as tarot cards.
Agatha's the tower? Oh no.
Yeah. So it's the different characters here. It is interesting to see like what kind of like lore will these, if what we can like divine, no pun intended, from like different tarot cards and different characters. I think that'll be more clear as we get more information.
So there's definitely the Jennifer Kale on the bottom right, the High Priestess, right?
Yeah.
That's the Three of Swords is Agatha, yes?
It
does look like her, yeah.
I would have thought Death though, since she
that also could be Agatha, but
life.
I mean, it does seem like Rio came out of the ground in that first clip we saw. Like, could she? We don't quite know what their relationship is. I think there's rumors that they used to be like a couple.
I have 2 friends that do tarot readings. I should know this stuff, because swords and pentacles and cups each represent something different, whether it's like, I got nothing. But I do know, the card I know the most here, I understand no one cares. But the card I have pulled from pretty much every reading I have ever done since 2015 is the Tower. So I intimately know what the Tower represents.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time it's like depression, despair. It's like really negative things. But if you take like a nice meaning from it, it's to burn everything to the ground and start again. So it's about rebirth. It's about rebuilding.
Right.
It's about literally destroying so you can build again. But if you look back at the card, there's people jumping out of the
Yes, and also the top of the tower has been struck by lightning that forms the shape of W, aka Wanda Maximoff, possibly.
She has burned everything to the ground.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll start again.
And that is a tower on top of a mountain. Wondergore Mountain, possibly.
yeah,
Maybe that
that's
could be
true.
the W as
I
well.
love you reading into that.
I mean, I definitely think more hints that like she could be coming back in this series for sure. I don't know. I mean, it almost feels like if they do have Wanda coming back, it might not be like Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda, but more this presence, right? Like the remainder of her presence interacting with these characters as they journey down the Witch's Road until they find whatever's down there, right?
Yeah, and there's a world in which like her presence is alive, though she is not.
Yeah.
Right? And like her spells, her magic still exists in the world, even if her heart no longer beats.
Yeah. Which actually is a great segue into this quote too. Yeah.
So EP, that stands for executive producer.
Sure does. Well done.
Mary,
it's just
Ep. Mary Livanos, speaking with Jamie Girac from comicbook.com.
She did so well in
Phase
the-
Zero, yes. Said that the spell that Wanda put Agatha under has now been distorted after the events of Multiverse of Madness. So it's interesting, and we don't know if in the rules of this universe, if when you die, all of the spells you have cast also die
Right.
with you.
Yeah, what's the
go
power?
away, or they exist on separately from you, and so once you cast a spell, I could die, the spell still exists. But so Agatha is still under some kind of a spell. It has just been distorted, and she has to break out of it with the help of the mysterious goth teen.
Who does not get a name.
Yep.
I love that. No
Teen.
name.
Yes,
Yeah.
purposefully not named Joe Locke's character. He asked her to take him on the Witch's Road. He's missing his power.
She's missing her power.
Agatha is missing her power, right?
Yeah.
She says in some of the promos, we need to go down the Witch's Road to get our power back. And so Joe Locke's character wants his own power, thus he's motivated to do so as well, and that creates their unlikely partnership together. So why do we think this distortion is happening? Is that kind of just like, in the Wondergore Mountain thing, and we see the giant bright red fire explosion that we think could have been maybe
flash.
a flash that could have been Wanda dying or something happening to Wanda. Do you think that sent like an EMP style shockwave through the magic of the universe and distorted all these things?
But in the vein of Slave 2, the ship that Boba Fett or Jango Fett uses in the prequels, and it's like, wong. Just like that. Some people like sounds, and if you like sounds, I got you with that one.
What was that sound again?
Wong. I can't do it justice. No, there's no two sound effect. Anyway.
Yes. Do we think that quote is evidence for Wanda being dead or evidence for Wanda being alive?
I did a deep dive. I had a look. I'm looking around to see if there is any actual confirmation from Marvel, and the only thing I've truly discovered if Wanda is dead and if that all happening in the Multiverse of Madness was her actual and eventual demise. Now, in the book, Marvel Studios, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, an official timeline, it states in there that Wanda destroys Wondergore
Mountain, yeah.
and collapses it upon herself, ending two great threats to all of the multiverse.
But that doesn't say if she's dead or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't. So that was like alluding to the fact that she has been destroyed. Now, what I personally think with this, if she did die in Multiverse of Madness, what a shitty out. What a terrible goodbye. What a way to just be like, well, that was it.
It's also, it's off screen. She doesn't get her I love you 3000 moment. She doesn't get a funeral. She doesn't get any kind of sayonara or anything, right? Which makes me think like she's not dead.
Another thing, Wanda is one of the more powerful magic users in the multiverses, plural, multiple of verses.
Yeah.
Like, she is so powerful. She was like, when you go back and looking at everyone who went up against, oh my God, Cabbage Face. We just spoke about him. Brolin. Thanos. I'm like, Thor. No. She held her own the most.
Yeah.
Out of anyone. So I don't think that a building falling on her is what's going to do it.
Yeah.
There's no way. I personally don't think. What I do think is that Elizabeth Olsen, in her career at this stage, she's had a great run. She's been there from the original Avengers Age of Ultron. Like, you know, she's had a successful series on Disney Plus. I think that there has not been a concrete contract in place, and she's still umming and ahhing, and they didn't know what to do, so they have left it vague enough for her to come back should she want to.
Yeah.
And if she decides not to, then it took care of itself.
Yeah.
What if it's like we see, you know, at the end of this series, maybe the finale of the series, we see, you know, there's mist and whatever, and out of the mist, somebody wearing red, they got the signature spike thing, and before you can see their face, it's like, that form of me died, but now I'm in a new form. Boom.
No,
mist clears. Sydney Sweeney in the outfit.
The reason why I don't want that to happen is because we're looking at Vision's new show, which is currently in development, and that's literally what Vision is going through. He has a new look. He has a new upload. He's got a new identity crisis.
So you're saying we're going to see White Vision. Do we see White Witch?
God damn it. I mean, why wouldn't it be like Mary-Kate or Ashley?
Oh, damn. Unretire 'em.
Unretire 'em.
And that way that each of them only has to work half the time. It's a great game.
They're still doing the twins role.
Yes, well, and so this all dovetails. We talked about this a little bit last week, right? It's been announced the Vision show is happening.
Yep.
We have some quotes about that as well, and that it is the final of a trilogy of series with WandaVision, Agatha All Along, Vision being the final of that trilogy. And there's some quotes that make it sound as if Agatha All Along and the Vision series are taking place at the same time.
Yeah.
Both of them are after WandaVision, obviously, but they might be concurrent, which is a really fun, kind of philosophical idea of like the events of WandaVision almost like create two parallel roads for these different characters that came out of that show. But it does feel like, if not at the end of this series, at the end of that series, we need some kind of a Scarlet Witch thing.
Well, yeah, because if time is so specific, wouldn't these events be taking place before Multiverse of Madness?
No, I think it would have to be after, right? Because like we were just talking, right? Like if the building collapses on her, that's what's going to distort the spell. So regardless, it's going to be afterwards.
So this show is probably starting
right after,
pretty soon after Multiverse of Madness, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But after WandaVision, as obviously Vision Quest will have to be after WandaVision. But like thinking about it as like happening concurrently, there's a rumor that there's like could be another unnamed teen. Obviously that could be like Billy and Tommy and like Wiccan and Speed, and seeing their journeys come to fruition with this show to help, you know, contribute to a Young Avengers thing. Okay. It also feels interesting. I want to go back to your point about like talking about how powerful she is, because it could be that, and also what you were saying, Zach, about her physical form being, you know, destroyed. Could be that she's living on in some spiritual way, and that both shows will have to act as like halves to bring her back.
A conduit.
Yeah.
All right, I like it.
To be like, okay, we've done our part, and now someone else has to ship it.
That part of the MacGuffin of this series, whether it's like some weird amulet that's going to give Agatha her power back or something like that, but that like the MacGuffin is intrinsically connected to Wanda somehow. Whether it's, you know, like something that she impacted somehow, or will be connected to her, or her spirit is trapped in a vase, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. And I also think that, like, you know, when we're, you know, people in the chat are asking like the relationship between Agatha and Wanda. Like, Agatha helped make Wanda as powerful as she is now, right? By helping introduce her to like the Darkhold and everything. And it seems only fitting for that character to continue serving, Agatha to continue serving, to grow Wanda, or to like be a part of like that character's, you know, return and growth.
Didn't she feel that how she was sort of contained in WandaVision was a punishment though?
Yeah, definitely.
And
why would she help her?
Agatha's intentions were not good in WandaVision. She was only helping her grow to be able to have more to suck out of her.
Yeah.
But obviously there was then a power flip at the end of that series, right? Where Agatha became the subordinate and she herself got trapped inside that hex, right? So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what the nature of their relationship is like. If Agatha's like, well, fair play to you, I guess we're on equal footing, you know, 1 for 1 there, everything's cool. Or if she's like, that evil Wanda, right? I've got to steal my power back from her in some way. Yeah.
I'm thinking it's the latter.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do think just to kind of like bring it back, the distortion is maybe happening because if she's still alive, she doesn't have like a control over this anymore, right? And she needs all these elements to come back together. I mean, final thing, do we think we see Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff in this series?
In new footage?
Yeah,
and not just like a flashback to WandaVision? It's more fun to say yes, so I'm going to say yes.
I think it's going to be held off for the Vision series.
Yeah, I kind of believe that more, but again, I'm choosing fun.
Oh, sorry, I am choosing meh.
I'm saying Mary-Kate and Ashley come back and then
whoa, that's very fun. In a New York minute. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, one final thing from.
Sorry. Before you move on to that, do we see Paul Bettany's Vision in this series? Either purple or white.
I think you have to as a passing of the baton into the series. I think you've got more chance of
maybe this even ends with a little tease of the Vision series, possibly, or something like that.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's more likely we see like the original Vision, either flashbacks or something. I don't know. Yeah, this is tricky. I'm like struggling to find out why he would be there. You know, unless they do a moment where there's like a episode where they interact that. You know, in the Vision series, we'll see how he gets to that point.
What if, like, the Vision series and Agatha All Along, Rashomon style, they both end in the exact same place, right? Yeah. We see Agatha walk into a room where Vision is and, like, Wanda's dead body, and then, boom, the Vision series starts over. Yeah. It ends with them walking into the same room.
I like that. I like that a lot.
He's got, like, a new synthezoid body, and she's got her, like, soul, and she's going to put the soul into the body.
Well, I mean, he's a blank canvas at this stage. Yeah, I think she's totally going to take advantage and manipulate that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Interesting. All right, last thing. Jamie at Jirac was talking to Mary Lavanos, and they teased that a certain character that was speculated to appear in WandaVision is referenced in episode 3 of Agatha All Along. It truly feels like Eric manifested Mephisto. It feels like they're talking about Mephisto.
Matt Shackman has done interviews where he's been asked about Mephisto, and he's like, oh yeah, we were so surprised by all the fan theories that were going around while the series happened and all this. Obviously, the creatives are aware of the conversation that happened around their shows. I don't think they anticipated Mephisto being such a fun thing, spearheaded by Eric, among others. But we were saying, like, there are other possibilities, maybe. Yeah. But it does feel like it's going to be Mephisto. They're at least going to speak the name, right?
Yeah. And it feels like a nice way to tie in more of these supernatural elements. Like, you know, all we have right now, like, it's like besides WandaVision, it's just like Werewolf by Night. It would be great to see how much more they can lean in that direction, especially before Halloween, you know? And just to get people excited.
Yeah. And as we're spending so much time with, like, a variety of witches, clearly, like, them even stating there's like Grand Witches and Protection Witches and stuff like that. Like, we're gonna get a lot more of the culture of the occult and all this kind of stuff within the Marvel universe, which is fun. Yeah. Real quick, this is not a Agatha prediction show, but like, who do we think dies in this show? Anybody?
You.
That's right. Yeah. I die a little bit each night. Do we think any of the gang's all here are characters?
Yeah, I think they all die. I think that's a pretty good read.
I feel like Joe Locke survives.
Oh yeah,
it's a lock.
I think his name is withheld because he's actually a significant character, and his name right now would be a massive spoiler. Or my other thought that I had before the show, usually when you deal with magic, there is this whole thing where if names have power. So if you know someone's name, I don't know, especially like in that magic world, if you're a magic user, names is almost like a currency. So someone's like, if you give me your full name, then I can, you know, basically announce your full name and have power over you. So I'm wondering if something with this to protect him, his name is blanked out, and she's like, interesting, so that she can't actually have power over him. Using that supernatural.
I like that. Well, and you know, different promos or I guess one of the ones we just watched, Joe Locke kind of releases Agatha by saying a spell. I think that was from the promo last week. So like maybe also because of that, because he has unleashed her, thus she can't know his name because like he has the current power over her. And
Yeah.
So I really like that
that,
theory.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Just know a little bit about magic is all.
Oh, are you
Just
are
have
you
two
a
voodoo
practitioner?
dolls in my
or-
bag.
You have what?
2 voodoo dolls in my bag.
Of who?
That's not your business.
I think it's me and you.
I've been wondering why. Been wondering why the lower half of my body's on fire all
Someone's
the time.
bone just broke. It snapped. So that's my bad. I didn't mean to do that. But haha, for the joke.
A voodoo doll. You do not know I made. Okay, anyways, there's a hot heat song in the early 2000s.
I love Hot Heat. I've seen them live a few times. That's how old I am.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the elder millennials in the chat. Okay. I think that's it for us today. We're all very jazzed for the Agatha show. I'm now in the phase of my journey with Agatha where I'm like, okay, no more promos. Just give me the show.
I'm the opposite. I'm more jazzed having seen these trailers.
Yeah, I think it's like a nice mix. I'm just like, I think they're really towing the line of what they can reveal. I think that like we maybe have gotten the biggest things before September 18th. So to see.
And here's something I'll throw out. If you are not as jazzed about Agatha right now, and which is understandable, it's a tertiary Marvel character. You know, there's a lot of the iconography of Marvel is not present in the show. I think also like they've been really emphasizing the kind of like buddy comedy elements, the comedy elements in the show, the kind of team up stuff. I think that's because they can't show us a lot of the other stuff. They can't really talk about what the main plot of the show is.
Yeah.
They can't get into some of the wild musical numbers, maybe like the supernatural characters that might show up, maybe some of the things as Maude is hinted at, maybe some of the horror stuff doesn't work as well in press. So all that is to say, like, even if this doesn't seem like your vibe, I wouldn't doubt if this show is maybe closer to something you'd enjoy.
Yeah. I think it's definitely probably gonna be worth the watch. I'm excited.
Can we get in the chat and in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, out of 10, where's your hype level for this one?
Yeah.
Give
drop
us that
it.
hype out of 10. I'm like at an 8. I'm feeling pretty good about this.
Same. It's the time of year.
Yeah.
Witches and scary and magic and stuff
And
like
nice to
that.
have a show, right, week to week, and not just like, oh, I'm gonna watch these movies, right?
That's a great point. And I think like this show maybe near the top of a lot of the Marvel shows, like there's going to be weird mysteries and cliffhangers that propel you to the next week, right?
Yes,
Like things that we didn't maybe have in like Falcon and Winter Soldier or Echo or whatever, right? Like just because those shows aren't built around mysteries and what the hell's going on, and this show is. So I think like this is going to be a really fun week to week watch.
Yeah, and showrunner Jack Schaefer even called it like a puzzle box show, like with that in mind, right? So,
Cool.
Yeah, great points. Very excited.
Yeah.
8.
8.
8.
Wait, that's my number. What's your hype level?
Also 8.
Okay, well fine.
8.5.
I will get this.
7.99. Okay. No. I'm in the same zone. I think this is like I'm right at the Penguin and Agatha. I can't decide which one I'm a little bit more excited about.
Agatha for me.
Okay. Yeah. I might be leaning slightly Penguin, but I'm very jazzed about both shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Tune in. We'll be back on Thursday and Friday of this week.
Likely.
Great.
Keep an eye out on the schedule.
Hell yeah.
Maude, where can the people find you?
I'm on social medias at Maude Garrett. It's going to show up here.
2 R's, 2 T's. There it is.
G-A-R-R-E-T-T. That is how you spell Garrett.
Nice. Follow Breakroom NR on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. Maybe one day I'll actually post on there.
And
Just give me the login already.
we leave you with this. When somebody asks, where's the gang? It's all
All
here.
here. See ya.